fourthly, and most importantly, I think, is divine intervention. And a lot of people don't understand this, is sometimes the man upstairs opens a door for you and tells you to walk through that
Hi, my name is Royd Kapesa, and I've got a very interesting chat today on Nkwazi Magazine's TableTalk. I'm speaking with a man who wears two hats. His name is Mr. Ashu Sagar, and he is the president of the Zambia Association of Manufacturers, where he's done tremendous work in advocating for an equitable business environment for Zambia's manufacturers. As you know, Zambia accounts for about 9% of GDP, and this is such a good conversation coming on the back of the just recently announced national budget. But Ashu is also a manufacturer in his own right, and he is the CEO and founder of the company that makes the famous Aquavita brand of water. So sit back and enjoy this conversation on Nkwazi Table Talk with me, Royd Kapesa, and my good man here, who just made me, Boniface, who's just made me a very good cocktail. Cheers. Hi, Ashu.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you doing?
All right.
Pleasure to speak to you today for Table Talk with Nkwazi Magazine. I hope you're well.
Oh, good. Everything's fine. All
Good. So let's jump right into it. So you are mostly known to the world, to Zambia, for your role with the Zambia Association of Manufacturers. But you are also an entrepreneur and a manufacturer yourself. I want to learn more about your business and how you ventured into the manufacturing world.
It's a story, I think, manufacturing world, it starts a story that goes back to 1999 when our company was established. And a little bit, I think, trying to do something away from, I'm originally, as professionally, I'm an accountant, qualified accountant. But I think I always had the urge to try and do something that was a little more technical, right? And manufacturing came up in terms of us in 1999 setting up a juice manufacturing plant, which was the original business. And we were one of the first companies that operated fresh juices in that time based on a cold chain delivery system. And the business basically grew away from fresh juices because the market was not ready for it at the time. We were, what people are doing now, I think we were doing in 25 years ago.
Yeah.
But I think at the time the market was not ready, and we gradually transitioned around 2005, 4 or 5 years later, into a water manufacturing company, which is the brand Aquavita. And from there, it has just been, a growth phase right through to now. It's 25 years of the business. You concentrate on your strengths, right? And this is what we did: is we concentrated our reinvestment in capital, our organic growth, into a product that was growing and doing very well.
So I've heard you saying we. Who is we?
You know, no company is an individual.
Yeah.
We is your yourself, your shareholders, your employees, your stakeholders. And a lot of people make a mistake of identifying a company or a corporate as an I. And these are some of the dangers in terms of realization that a corporate or a brand or anything that should be built independent of the individual, right? So that's why we say we is the company, right?
Yeah.
It's not just one person.
Absolutely. So you've talked about that you're a qualified accountant.
Right.
Did you ever work as an accountant before?
So,
Okay.
I mean, I started as a trainee accountant at the age of 17. I was fully qualified with a membership certificate at the age of 21. Probably one of the youngest at the time in the country. I have worked in the finance field.
Yeah.
And then eventually in 1999, I moved on to set up my own business, which was the manufacturing plant.
Well, yeah. Manufacturing the Aquavita
Yes.
brand of water. manufacturing is already a big part of the Zambian economy. I know in the past we focused on the extractive industry, which have been great, such as mining, well, mostly mining, but I have learned that manufacturing actually contributes just about or over 9% of Zambia's GDP, and for that it plays a critical role in where the country goes forward. What is the current state of the manufacturing industry in Zambia?
The manufacturing sector has actually been very resilient.
Yeah.
In 2024, we did 9.3% of GDP, the highest it has been in spite of the problems, right? Since we started recording numbers in 1990. We've been sitting at 7.8, 8.7, but then 2024, with the headwinds, we still managed to do a considerable contribution to GDP. The point I'm making is, if we had a normalcy in energy supply, I think we would have been contributing a lot more. If you look at the macro side of things, a stability in the exchange rate, the stability in general economic environment, we have to be fair. This environment is actually quite stable. Yes, we've seen price increases. We've seen the country being hit by a drought, by the energy crisis. But right now, especially in the last, I would say, 12 months, we've seen a reasonable amount of stability. Whatever work was done by the government in debt restructuring and putting things together has finally started bearing fruit on the macro side.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have to give credit where it's due there. But of course, there is always, between private sector and government, you always have issues where you say, look, we don't think what you're doing here is right. Can you do this? And that is also a difference we have seen, is the ability to have a discussion or have a openness to me walking in, for example, to the Minister of Finance. The ability to do that now is very different.
Yeah.
You can walk in, you can explain things without fear, right, of retribution.
There's an open door policy. There's an actual open door policy.
And I think that makes a big difference in how an economy progresses. Whether you agree on something is a different issue, but the fact that you can walk in and say, this is our point of view and this is why we think you should do this and these are the alternative solutions, I think that is a big change we have seen, right?
Yeah.
And is also part of the solution, or I would say the progress we're seeing going forward as a country. So my point, I think that I was trying to make is, if it hadn't been for these external headwinds, the rebound would have been much bigger.
Much bigger, yeah.
Right? A lot of the money in circulation was not coming out of productivity. It was coming out of spending in the past. Now what you're trying to see is a stability and money that's coming into circulation coming from a productivity base, which is very different. That is how you make a sustainable economy.
Yeah.
Right? So when it comes to the manufacturing sector, we are seeing productivity stabilizing. Yes, we've seen headwinds when you haven't had energy to manufacture, right? But you've still achieved a reasonable growth in the sector and contribution to GDP.
Absolutely.
If we didn't have the headwinds, I think
it would have been much higher.
And Zambia would be in a very different footing, in my view. Sometimes you get dealt a bad hand and you have to make the best of it, and we're trying to come out of it, and I think we've done well.
Not all things are bad when it comes to manufacturing. The manufacturing industry has grown and continues to grow and can be a big pillar of Zambia's economy. What would you say are like the top three, if you had to put it in a nutshell, like what are the top three strategic priorities to improve the sector looking forward?
Point is, one, access to raw material to add value. Two, having the correct environment, right? Policy to make sure that we harness those resources and add value properly. Three, infrastructure, energy, all that has to come right. The rest of it, private access to finance is talked about, right? And I know for SMEs and MSMEs, it's a big problem.
Seems to be the biggest issue that comes up,
In terms of game changers, there's no point solving the finance problem and you can't find the resource to add value to, right?
Yeah.
So first we must realize, where does our strength lie?
So obviously in the last, let's say, 3 to 5 years or even more, we've been trying to change this rationale, landlocked to say land-linked. How easy is it for goods to cross the border and to go across from a policy level?
There's the old concept of landlocked, which when you looked at Zambia 20, 30 years ago or whatever, it was a very import-based finished product economy. So you had this concept of saying Zambia is landlocked. Now, when you move and you start producing products of quality, the concept naturally changes to a land-linked opportunity. So when you say 8 countries, I actually say 9, I actually say sometimes 10.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. We forget the Great Lakes region, which is in the old, there was a time Mpulungu port was loading cement for Burundi consistently.
Wow. Yeah.
But it has gone.
It's gone, yeah.
You look at the Eastern Congo, to me, is a separate ball game to Lumumbashi.
Yeah.
So the opportunities that lie in terms of the land-linked principle, we have proved, for example, using Kasumbalesa. Kasumbalesa turns millions of dollars a day in trade because Congo still has an appetite. Congo's, the Katanga province is probably 15 million people, right? Zambia is 20 million. Now you talk, one little province has got the population of Zambia, concentrated in a geographical space compared to us, which is all spread out.
The demand is there.
Demand is there, but like the infrastructure at the border is very haphazard. So we've been pushing government to say, look, move into a principle of trade zones, away from the one-stop border shop has been given in concessions, but we find that the developers are not concentrating on the trade aspect. And we're saying, look, there must be a different solution to the trade zones where you are basically walking into one big duty-free shop.
Yeah.
If you've been to the airport, and you walk in and you see different products which are without VAT. So we're saying even the manufacturers are willing to do this, is a 40-hectare development where we build our own warehouses.
This would be stationed at the borders?
Stationed at the borders.
Oh, okay.
And you say that in there, right, we...
Duty-free.
VAT-free, that's it. Yeah?
VAT-free for water, for
everything.
Yeah.
So that now you start capturing all the revenue also officially.
Yeah.
And you start structuring the trade formally across the borders. The Congolese will continue to transport on a bicycle. I don't know if you've seen 1.5 tons going on a bicycle.
No.
It happens.
So I haven't been to Kasumbalesa.
But you can out of interest, just Google it and you'll see that a small bicycle will carry 1.5 tons of product across the border. Anything that enters Congo basically is duty-free on a bicycle. That's the law. So that trade will continue, right? So there's, using that as an example, we now have Sakanya opening up, we have Mukambo being developed, we have Kipushi being developed, we have another one that is near Kolwezi being developed. There are 5 borders there just for DRC. That if we do them right, we start harnessing and leveraging our land link policy. You start doing that at Mwami. You start doing that at Chirundu. You start doing that now.
Mwami is Malawi?
Malawi.
Yeah.
You start doing that in Nakonde.
Yeah.
You start doing that in Mpulungu. So when you start building trade zones, right, in those areas, you start structuring trade from the informal sector to the formal sector.
Yeah.
But you still, it's the means to the end is probably the same, right? But you're now having a proper way of doing things.
Formalized.
Yeah. So these are the kind of changes when you talk about land linked that need to happen.
So on that, you've talked about when you walk into the shop, you've got local and you've got foreign as well. And obviously the locally manufactured stuff has really improved. But I've noticed the prices of the locally manufactured is still almost at par with the foreign. Why is that? And how do we bring the local down to a point where we can actually incentivize?
I would disagree that the price is the same.
There are some products that I've noticed where it's...
Some maybe are the same, because remember, There's certain products which have a high component of imported raw materials.
So that could be because of the interaction with,
Yeah, so whatever.
with outside suppliers. And
So when you look at products like, I mean, the other day I went and I looked at long life milk. A 1 liter from Zambia was, I need to be corrected, but maybe let's say it's 18 kwacha or whatever, or 23 kwacha. The imported version was now 40 something.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? But there is two things there. With imported products, the volume of scale, for example, from South Africa is a different ballgame. Who is our main trading partner in terms of supplied finished products? South Africa.
South Africa, absolutely.
Who have developed their industrialization way ahead of us, have the ability to meet certain critical mass when it comes to numbers, right? In terms of what they can supply. Now, if you look at manufacturing, you get to certain break-even points, you have your profit margins, and then you have what you feel that you've got capacity on your production lines, which you can sell at a marginal, very low margin, because you've already covered your costs, you're already making profits on your major contracts. Then now Zambia becomes a little bit of cream on the top. So they can manage to, remember they're also part of SADC, no duty, right? And this where the competition comes, where they can actually supply at similar prices on certain products. But it's a healthy thing.
It's a healthy thing. Yeah?
Yes, it makes everyone also understand that how do you match somebody at this level and allow and also come in at the right price. So what I think you've seen is Zambian companies have stepped up their game in terms of quality. Definitely. You walk in, you cannot really differentiate in terms of quality. They've also now had to know that they have to be price sensitive.
Yeah.
Product, place, price, right? And they've managed to also now, I think in the old days, you used to have a lot of the chain stores having resistance to Zambian products. Now there's actually a drive to have more
Zambian we can see,
products on their shelves. The opportunity in terms of, competing with foreign products, I think we're proving ourselves way ahead of time.
Yeah. Speaking of products, as we sort of just bring this conversation full circle, what's the current state of the Proudly Zambian campaign, and how effective has that been to sort of spur the consumption and of locally produced goods?
So look, the Proudly Zambian campaign, just to put it out there, is actually a government-owned initiative, which Zambia Association of Manufacturers runs on behalf of government, right? We've seen a lot of our manufacturers come on board. Now, remember, it's not just a manufacturing label. It also extends to service industries.
Does it? I had no idea.
So we've got banks. We classify them as Proudly Zambian. We've got an airline, ProFlight. And rightly so. They're a Zambian-owned airline. They're based in Zambia. They run the Proudly Zambian tag on their marketing. Why not? You're promoting a Zambian product. Plus manufacturing. A lot of our manufacturers, when you go onto the shelves, you see that it's got a Proudly Zambian tag. So what we're now pushing for, and I think government has agreed in principle, that the Proudly Zambian campaign should be a prerequisite to supply.
Because right now it's not mandatory,
it's not mandatory, but
you can opt in or out.
Yeah, but what it should do is, if you got the Proudly Zambian logo, you get a preference in treatment, for example. So government has done some good things recently with, giving a Zambian companies preferential treatment on pricing for certain things made in Zambia. It was SI 45, I think, which was done in July or June. But on top of that, there's still a lot of sectors that can benefit from the Proudly Zambian campaign, right? In terms of making it, I think the president always talks about positive discrimination in terms of purchasing. It's an avenue to be used where we can make sure that you are part of the Proudly Zambian campaign. You're a Zambian product for you to supply government.
Where would you say the entrepreneurial bug came from?
There's a couple of things there. I think people know whether they can work under somebody for the rest of their lives. And two, I think you realize that in business there's always the risk factor in whatever you're doing. So I think when you start looking at it that, we take risks for a business, if you're going to do it anyway, do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that becomes a step back in perspective where you start looking at things and saying, if you're going to try something, also there's a timing, right? You're going to try something, try it now. I have my skills to back up if I ever fail in life, right? I have my skills.
You can always go back.
I can go back and I can, find a job or do something. But if you're going to take a risk in life, I think the timing has to be right. One, your opportunities sometimes come at your doorstep and you don't realize, and you need to take them too. And three, I think when you're ready, you just know, I think, that you're ready for this. But fourthly, and most importantly, I think, is divine intervention. And a lot of people don't understand this, is sometimes the man upstairs opens a door for you and tells you to walk through that door.
Very big factor.
And if you have enough faith, you take that leap. So that, I think, is always missing on some people will ignore it and say, no, it wasn't him. It wasn't
when they're having these chats, they ignore that aspect.
It was always me, it's me. I have a lot of gratitude for divine intervention.
Third thing I've learned from speaking with Ashu is something that comes from his personal side and something that I'll take personally, and that is, if you want to have real success in this life, you need to go all in and you need to put all chips on the table. What are some of if you can just look back in reflection, what would you say has been one of the hardest challenges in building this business, in being an entrepreneur?
See, the hardest challenges come to, I remember when I started, I mortgaged my house, I mortgaged everything.
Did you?
Yeah, everything I had. I was broke at the bank to raise the financing to buy our,
the machinery,
the initial machinery. And initially we started very small. That was okay. But then when we wanted to scale up, and you had to raise $500,000 at the time, everything was...
That's big money.
Everything is in the pot.
Yeah.
And you're basically signing away your life to raise the funding and I think that probably was the biggest challenge in terms of, if that didn't happen, probably you would not see Aquavita on the shelves the way it is today, right? So part of it, putting everything. I use Elon sometimes when I lecture and I give little examples. I use Elon Musk as an example. He has a policy: put all your chips on the table. And
go all in.
Go all in, and if you really believe in it, right? Why are you asking someone else to share the risk pot with you? It's you.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you're looking forward to over the next, say, 5 to 10 years?
I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years, or 4 years, or 2 years, or 10 years. But whatever I will do, yes, I will still concentrate on building a business or maybe a new business. But I think it would be more to try and have a positive impact in the environment I'm placed in. Heading ZAM, if you asked me 5 years ago, was not
in the plans.
It was not even on my radar.
Yeah.
It came and you say, well, you're opening a door for me.
Let me walk through.
I'll walk through. And the same things can happen next year or 2 years down the line, or 4 years, or may not even happen. So it's about, I might live a nice, quiet, retired life somewhere and enjoy things.
Is retirement in the plans?
I'm not the type to retire, but I think there's a lot more in life than just working. I've been working since I was 17. So my work life cycle at this age, right, is a lot longer than most people.
Yeah.
So I'm probably got 10 years under my belt of work experience ahead of people my same age, or 7 to 10 years. So then you might say, are you ready to retire? But no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm ready to do things a little differently, yeah.
Wherever you go, I'm sure it's going to be a very fruitful journey as it's been. I mean, we've interacted before through your work in Zam, and I can definitely feel that passion and that zeal to make a change and to impact people. Yeah, this was fantastic. I really enjoyed sitting down with you, Ashu, getting your different perspective, both on the macro level, but also learning about you and your business and your business journey. So thank you for that. Thank you for your time as well. And I hope this was valuable for you as well, and that it helped you to reflect, on your own journey and life.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it was good. It was an interesting chat.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What a conversation. As always, I've enjoyed another episode of Table Talk, and this time I was speaking with Ashu Sagar, a respectable manufacturer in his own right. One thing is clear when you talk to Ashu: he's a man of strong principle and a man who believes in Zambia's manufacturing sector as a key pillar to our economic development. Thank you as always for staying tuned to Nkwazi Table Talk and for reading our pieces. See you in the next one.